Hello and welcome to Challenge the Build. If you are watching this video, then there is a good chance you are getting ready to make a purchase on this unit right here, which is the AirWerx 55S dehumidifier from BaseAire. And in this review, I'm going to do my best to help you make an informed purchase decision by going over some specifications, the functions, and general construction of this unit. So let's get into the review. Starting with what is in the box, I do have to say that BaseAire did contact me directly and asked if I would do a review on their product. So obviously I agreed, so it's here. They did send it to me at no cost. Along with the dehumidifier, they did send me the remote controller as well. I am required to disclose that information. However, that will not keep me, as I'm losing parts out of the box, from giving you a honest review on the product. And what I lost out of the box is we have a 6.5 foot drain hose, and then we also have the, I guess, flange adapter, so that way you could hook on a vent tube to the unit as well. We'll kind of figure out where that goes here in just a second. As far as the overall packaging, it is very well taken care of. A lot of foam on the top and bottom of the unit, a lot of cardboard corners, and then hard plastic corners on all four sides to protect the investment. Right on top of the unit, the user manual for the dehumidifier. I will be kind of breezing through this here during the video. I can say that in anything that you buy as far as tool or accessory or appliance, spend some time, read through, make sure you understand how to properly use it, maintain it, moving forward with the use of your dehumidifier. On top of the unit as well, we have the warranty registration card. Take your time, fill out the warranty registration card. There is a 5-year warranty on this unit, so it is definitely going to be advantageous of you to fill this out, mail this in, so this way here you can take advantage of the warranty on the unit. All right, let me finish taking this out of the box. This is definitely a heavy unit. I want to say it weighs probably close to 50 pounds, give or take a little bit. The overall look on this is kind of has the feeling of being a very commercial unit. Now, this is something that you could definitely use in your home. I kind of personally like the feel of it having that commercial grade application. The overall construction is basic sheet metal. I want to say it's probably 16 gauge sheet metal. Over here on my left side is where you can attach the vent tube adapter. Simply just hook it in, clip it in, and it snaps right into position. So then you could probably put, I want to say, an 8-inch tube. Where's my tape measure? Right here. Probably a 6-inch tube, a 6-inch vent tube onto this, kind of similar to like what you would see on a air conditioning unit, kind of like one of them remote units that you would put in your living room and then pipe out the window. Very similar to that. So a 6-inch tube would go on there. This is a continuous draining dehumidifier, meaning that there is no bucket inside of this that captures the water. This unit for me is going to be replacing the unit down in our basement, and the one in our basement now has a small container that fills up with the water that we will then have to empty. With the continuous drain option, you will need to plumb it or drain it into either a drain of some kind. I plan on plumbing it into our sump pump basin, or this can also work with a condensate pump, which will then be wired in directly to this block here. And then as the drain goes into the condensate pump, the pump would then pump it out into whatever location you desire. Again, all of that is clearly laid out in the user manual. One thing I can say in regards to the manual is it is very clear to understand. It is very clearly written, where that makes it nice for the user to be able to read through it, understand it, and then implement what they are reading. I know sometimes we just kind of disregard these because they are very poorly written and hard to understand, and then just makes it really frustrating to be able to use it and troubleshoot it if we have to. So that is one thing that I did notice when I was paging through here, is it is very easy to understand. This is Energy Star rated, and I'm going to read some of the specifications right here on the side of the unit. With it being Energy Star rated, this is a 110 volt unit. It uses 4.1 amps. The manufacturer is made in China, and the fan motor power is 0.059 of a horsepower, which produces approximately 130 CFMs of airflow. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and clip this zip tie, plug it in, and we will turn the unit on and see exactly how much air flows out, plus how loud it is. All right, so the initial startup, very simple, obviously hitting the power button here on the display. The compressor kicked on, and I don't know if you heard the compressor kick on. Regardless of that, the overall unit, in my opinion, is very quiet. It seems to be running very quiet. I can hear the compressor humming along, doing its job. The initial humidistat setting is right around 66%. So this is now pulling moisture out of the garage. Has a decent airflow coming out of the side of the unit. So while this is sitting here running, I'm going to go over a few other specifications on this particular unit. The AHAM, which stands for American Home and Appliance, rates this at 55 pints at 80 degrees Fahrenheit and a relative humidity of right around 60%, and that is in a 24-hour span of time, with a maximum rating of 120 pints at 90 degrees Fahrenheit and 90% relative humidity, again, in a 24-hour period of time. The amount of moisture that this unit is going to be able to extract from the atmosphere is obviously going to determine what the temperature of the room is, plus the relative humidity of that room as well. One thing that I really like about this particular unit is the industrial construction, opposed to the more residential unit that we have in our basement, considering these units are going to probably spend most of their time either in a basement or in a crawl space. The robust build quality, in my opinion, is something that I would prefer over having a residential unit in those areas for use. Again, it's running. The humidistat is set and is now at 64%. I am going to kind of open this up real quick and read through the principle of operation for this particular unit. The AirWerx series dehumidifier utilizes its integral humidistat, which is actually right here on the back of the unit, to monitor the conditioned space. When the relative humidity goes above the selected point, which is obviously selected here by the control panel, or if you have the remote controller, the dehumidifier will energize. Air is drawn in across the evaporator coil, which is right here on the back. There is actually a filter here that is replaceable. So the air is then drawn in, passed through the evaporator coil, which is cooler than the dew point of the air. Now, this means the moisture will condense out of the air, creating the moisture, which is what's going to be draining out. And actually what's crazy is this, in the short period of time that this is run, I am starting to get moisture right here coming out of the drain tube. So that is actually extremely impressive. I think this has been running for less than 5 minutes. So I am already pulling moisture out of the air, and it's probably 65 degrees in here. It is in the month of October. So this means the moisture will condense out of the air. The air is then reheated through the condenser and then distributed back into the room here. So this is the air coming out of the unit is now warmer since it's been running for a couple minutes. And what I will do is to kind of give you the principle of operation. I want to show you what is inside the unit. Now, I recommend you not open this up, but I at least want to show you the inside of the unit. These, I'm going to shut this off. Now, there is a delay in the shut-off phase. It has to kind of cool down the compressor, and then it will shut the unit off. So while that is in the shutdown mode, the basic principle of a dehumidifier is very, very similar, almost identical to, say, a air conditioning unit that you would put either in your window or a central home air conditioning unit. In the central air conditioning units, there is an evaporator coil, very much like this. They call it an A coil. And a air conditioning system actually does the same thing as a dehumidifier. It pulls the moisture, or I should say, it can pull the moisture out of the air, but rather than heating it, it actually cools it and then puts it back into the atmosphere. So the principles of a dehumidifier parallel a air conditioning unit, which now that it's shut down, I will, for safety reasons, unplug it. And then I will open up the front panel, showing you just what is inside of the unit. And again, the construction is very simple, but very well done. Everything is zip tied real nice. Everything has got good shielding on the wires. Connections are solid. So that is the principle of operation. I'm going to go ahead and close this back up, plug it back in, and I want to touch on just a few more points of this. Whoops. I guess I should pay attention and not lose the screws. I'm going to put the filter back in. Put those back up there for now. And turn this back on. There's two things that as I was reading through this, I want to touch on. The central control, there is a button here on the control panel up here. It says central control. Central control is not applicable on the AirWerx 55 or AirWerx 55S. So the light for central control should stay off at all times when not connected to an AC. Also, continuous mode. This has the ability to continually run regardless of humidity or humid stat setting. And in order to do that, what you do is lower the humid stat setting here to below 36%. And then once that happens, you see CO, which stands for continuous. Now this is going to run continuously, pulling the moisture out of the air. And I'm still very surprised and impressed at just in the short time, the amount of moisture that it's pulling out of the atmosphere. So that should give you some correlation to the quality of the unit and just how efficient it is working. Now to finish up this review, what I'm going to do is just open the remote control to see what's in the box. I do have to say that the remote control is sold separately from the dehumidifier. So this is sold as an extra. This is an add-on. So this is going to work with the 55 and the 55S. And right on the top of the box, we have the user manual. Also within the user manual for the actual dehumidifier unit itself, there also is a whole entire section regarding this remote controller and the installation process behind it. So both of these, you will need to refer to both of these when using the remote control. As far as what's in the box, we have 25 feet of Cat5 data cable. We have a few pieces of hardware. Looks like this is kind of a nail that would be used for cinder blocks. So, you know, crawl space and basement is more or less how they're implementing the installation. There are two also machine screws in there. You get the box, which you would mount to the wall, and then finally the actual controller, which then would mount to the box. And it looks like it's extremely simple to do because it is plug and play installation when it comes to the wiring. So you plug in one end of the Cat5 to the controller and then plug in the other controller, plug in the other end down here into the unit, excuse me. So that is going to conclude the overall review on the AirWerx 55S dehumidifier from BaseAire. Also showing you what is inside the box for the remote control. Again, remember this is sold separately from the unit. I want to thank BaseAire for sending me the unit to do a review on, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting it in the basement to replace the residential unit that we have down there, because in the short time that it was in here, the amount of moisture it pulled out in what I thought was a relatively dry atmosphere, knowing the moisture content in our basement, this is going to be a great upgrade and addition to keeping that area dry. So I want to say thank you to you for watching. Now all you have to do is get out there and challenge your build. Get yourself a dehumidifier for your damp or wet locations, and just like I was, I think you will be relatively pleased with the performance of this particular unit. So again, thanks for watching. I will see you all in an upcoming review and/or video.